Blake Lewis, and this is Ground Zero. In the last hour, I was talking about my confusion about how I was going to go about talking about the anniversary of 9/11, the attacks of 9/11. I'm noticing that I don't think the mainstream even cares anymore, really. And I feel like I'm the only guy saying something. Maybe you heard on other shows. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to the talk radio guests or hosts. I don't know. I try to be in a league all on my own and try to keep my stuff original as possible. And the situation that I've been dealing with here and the regret that I have about 9/11 is that it just gets to a point where the mechanisms to get me all that afraid aren't working anymore. And it seems that it's leverage used by politicians to get people all scared and to allow, and allow civil rights to be lifted, really. I mean, there's still a modicum of ham-fisted remembrance poise that are provided by these opportunistic presidential candidates. I pointed out how Chris Christie and Rand Paul during the debates kind of sparred about 9/11, and Christie was all like, well, I did this with 9/11. I was U.S. attorney in 2001 when he wasn't. He was U.S. attorney in 2002. I think he just did that for effect. All that stuff. And it's funny because I have some people, and I had a number of people on social media say, I hope you're going to do a 9/11 show. And I'm thinking, why? And I asked somebody why, and he said, well, maybe you're going to be able to tell me something that I don't know. Maybe you're going to show me something that I haven't heard. Maybe it's going to be so unique that I'll stop thinking about the official story and change my mind about the other possibilities. I mean, hey, that's a lot of stuff I've been putting on my shoulders, because I just, I don't know what to say. But, 14 years, we were in a fit of hysteria, and we don't remember a lot of things. We just don't. I mean, in the last hour, I pointed out, and I've pointed this out many times, back 14 years ago, we don't remember how the seed of the buildings coming down as a controlled demolition was planted. Okay. We don't remember how that was planted. What it was is the mainstream media asked everybody to gather around, and when the towers came down, it was Peter Jennings that stated, hey, have you ever noticed how a building comes down when you're using dynamite? You got to put it in the right place. He was describing as the towers were coming down.
If you wish to bring anybody who's ever watched a building being demolished on purpose knows that if you're going to do this, you have to get at the under infrastructure of a building and bring it down.
Well, it wasn't just Peter Jennings. Even Dan Rather was talking about the collapse of Building 7. And it was quite interesting how that all went down.
Now, here we're going to show you a videotape of the collapse itself. Now we go to videotape the collapse of this building. It's amazing, incredible, pick your word. For the third time today, it's reminiscent of those pictures we've all seen too much on television before when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
Hear that? Who planted the seeds? Who planted the seeds? Okay, so there are a lot of people out there that say, plane didn't go into the Pentagon. I'm one of those people that are still out. The jury's still out on me, but hey, does anybody want to know who planted the seeds of a plane not going into the Pentagon? It wasn't conspiracy theorists. No, it was the mainstream media.
I want to get quickly to Chris Kanicki. He's a photographer with the Pittsburgh affiliate of Fox affiliate. He was back there just a couple of minutes ago, and Chris, I've seen the pictures. It looks like there's nothing there except for a hole in the ground.
Basically, that's right. The only thing you could see from where we were was a big gouge in the earth and some broken trees. We could see some people walking around in the area, but from where we could see, there wasn't much left.
Any large pieces of debris at all?
No, there was nothing that you could distinguish that a plane had crashed there.
Smoke, fire?
Nothing. It was absolutely quiet. It was actually very quiet. Nothing going on down there. No smoke, no fire. Just a couple of people walking around. They look like part of the NTSB crew walking around looking at the pieces.
How big would you say that hole was?
From my estimates, I would guess it was probably about 20 to 15 feet long and probably about 10 feet long, or 10 feet wide.
What could you see on the ground, if anything, other than dirt and ash? And
you couldn't see anything. You could just see dirt, ash, and people walking around, broken trees.
Funny how the script changed, huh? And how a lot of people say, well, it was. I always wondered, how did that happen? How did we how do we come to this idea that there was no second plane or no third plane going into the Pentagon? And I just found it all on the mainstream media.
No second plane. It was a bomb. Bombed another building, not second plane. That was a bomb. We say the second plane.
That's what we're told, the second plane. We saw it on television.
Everything.
All right, thanks a lot. This is...
So there you go. The second plane. Here's another mainstream media report about the Pentagon.
We have how much of the plane actually impacted the building.
You know, it might have appeared that way, but from my close-up inspection, there's no evidence of a plane having crashed anywhere near the Pentagon. The only site is the actual site of the building that's crashed in, and as I said, the only pieces left that you can see are small enough that you could pick up in your hand. There are no large tail sections, wing sections, a fuselage, nothing like that anywhere around, which would indicate that the entire plane crashed into the side of the Pentagon and then caused the side to collapse. Now, even though if you look at the pictures of the Pentagon, you see that the floors have all collapsed. That didn't happen immediately. It wasn't until almost about 45 minutes later that the structure was weakened enough that all of the floors collapsed.
And do you remember when the media reported just briefly that there was a van or a truck that was carrying explosives? And that van or truck had Palestinians or somebody else in there. Some say even Jews were in there, or Israelis were in that van. I don't know. But see, I didn't find any evidence to show, and I couldn't find any evidence to show this even happened. So for the longest time, I said, I don't know. I don't know about that. Same what they say about whether or not the plane didn't go into the Pentagon. I say, I don't know. The parts of the conspiracy theory, so I don't even know why I don't want to accept it. It's fact, because it's theory. But you know what I found? This is probably the holy grail for the night. And that is a police recording of the report and apprehending of suspects that drove a van, drove a truck, and on the side of it just happened to be a plane painted on the side, taking a dive into New York. This is what the police say on this police radio.
Everybody about 10 stations operating. Give it up there, plane. Just I got a message on that. It's a big truck with a mural painted of an airplane dying into New York City and exploding. So on to the truck. The truck is in between 6th and 7th on 10th Street. Alright, Temple, I'll send you to the bomb squad there, full West Gate. The bird? Oh, the rest put a mural painted airplane diving into New York, blowing up. 2 men got out of the truck, ran away from it. We got those people under. That's good. I told you okay? Alright, you didn't get any further on those 2 guys over there. You alright over there, Kate? Yeah, both suspects under K. We have the suspect who drove the van exploded. We have both of them under K. Let's put some help over. Now, I'm sending you here, shooter. I just want to make sure you and your guys are alright over there, K. That's all. What's the location? Alright, K. Put them up. You know, we have both aircraft that exploded. Is that correct? What location? The location, K. Somebody said something to check with us. What's the location? Street between 6th and 7th. East Street, 6th and 7th Avenue. East Street, 7th Avenue. You is on the scene on King 6 to 7. Which unit are you, King? I think I was going to... This one's actually evacuate. What's that? Which unit is on the scene on King Street, King? 10 engine and 10 truck. You take care of that for me and get back to me. We're working with Chief Burns over it. Alright, just check out that location. Let me know what you got.
I also remember that 14 years ago there was another incident with a bomb in a vehicle on the Washington Bridge. But of course I didn't find any reporting of that. I just had this recording that I dug through and found, and probably the holy grail of the show tonight, because people will say, well, is there something new I'm going to learn? Well, I learned something new, and that is that there was a police recording talking about a vehicle, truck, van, I don't know, they weren't very specific, but they said that this vehicle was in New York, and on the side of it was painted a picture of an airplane diving into the skyline of New York. And in the van, in the truck, were explosives. And they said there was an explosion, and the men were apprehended. There was no mainstream report that I can recall 14 years ago. It was presented to the people in order for them to know that there was more involved than just these 19 hijackers, that some magic trick they were able to get past security and make this happen. It's just interesting how the memory clouds after 14 years, and how we don't realize that the seeds were planted that day because we were all caught up in our hysteria. And at the time, our minds were not rational. We were frightened. We were traumatized. And in that time, we saw the government exploit the issue and turn...
¿Qué pasó? Cortaron de noticia.
Original dash cam to prove you really were involved in a road rage incident with a UFO.
Hey, look where you're going, pal.
For those moments when the phrase
Try it free for 1 week and pay only the shipping with no automatic shipments. Call 800-900-1255 right now or visit onehourpainrelief.com. That's 800-900-1255. 800-900-1255.
If you or someone you know is addicted to drugs or alcohol, this could be the most important message of your life. Write down this number or store it in your cell phone. But call 1-800-426-6186. That's 1-800-426